Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is an English translation of the Majlis of Hazrat Maulana Qamar Uzzaman Saheb Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Wednesday, the 24th of Shaban 1445, corresponding with the English date 6th of March 2024. Hazrat Wala starts off by quoting and saying, Ad-Deenu an-Nasiha. Hazrat Wala is saying, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab called all those that were in the Khanqa, and then he started speaking to us of the muhasaba of the nafs. The muhasaba and the reckoning of the nafs and the great need for it. And then he went on to say, today the reason of deprivation and why we are not reaching success is because we do not make muhasaba. There is no reckoning, and we do not take stock at the end of the day that what have I done. Meaning it's as simple as this. Hazrat Wala is saying that before going to bed, think about this year, that for the entire day, what good works did I do? And if there are any, you thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for that, and think about where you went wrong, where you erred, faltered, and then make tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and make azm not to do that in the future again. Look at the tijarat, commerce and trade. What happens there is how a person is so meticulous about doing all this type of hisab kitab, checking the books, seeing how much has come in, what has gone out. Now we need to do this before the time comes when Allah Ta'ala will ask us and take a reckoning of us. Now this is a very short and concise kitab. However, it is definitely a very great kitab. Now it is written also at that time there, we're speaking about maut and death. The person says, can I have something? Can you make me a cup of tea? Can I have this, that or the other? The wife returns with that to her spouse and her husband, seeing that he has already left this world. Just that much. And we're hearing about this here all the time. Now, normally, we look at the ibtidai zindagi. But if you're looking at that there, you can look at it with ikhtisar. But look at it completely and totally and more deeply. The end part of these pious saintly people's lives. How did they leave this world? Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab called us, and he taught us and showed us the importance of this making muhasaba of the nafs. Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq. Now, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab, on one occasion, ice cream was put in front of him. He just had one spoon. He passed it on to his grandchild, saying that if I eat it, I will commit sin. Now, this is when he was a musallam and an accepted saint and wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but this is how he was, and this was what his hal was, and what was displayed to the people. Now the family people, very few of them really accepted. But after that, most definitely we can tell you that Allah Ta'ala gave him such a type of an acceptance. You have these dams in the villages, and people have shares regarding that so much share and so much share and so much of the fish, etc. And we know that there is no milk. There is no sense of ownership when it comes to these dams. Now this is, and for that reason, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab never ever ate from that dam there in the village the fish that came from it. Now this was the ihtiyat, and how cautious he was when it came to these things. They looked at how correct their a'mal can be, and their mu'asharat also was just on another level. On one occasion, somebody came and said to Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Saheb that certain person, your murid, he passed away, but his maut came to him in such and such a way, meaning in such a beautiful way, and this is actually how he had passed away. Then, looking at that and making hasrat upon himself, Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Ahmad Saheb used to say that, yes, what to say and what to do, we should all wish for a maut like that. We should make dua for a maut like that. आने वाली किससे टाली जाएगी, जान ठहरी जाने वाले जाएगी. This maut and this death which is coming to us with such speed, who can ever drive that off? It is just so much that you need to stop breathing and the soul needs to leave the body. That's it. So here, the pious predecessors, Salaf al-Salihin, लोगों को नसीहत किया करते थे और लोगों को मुहासबा नफ्स और उसकी इस्लाह की ज़रूरत से आगाह करते रहते थे, वक्त फोत होने और मौत तारी होने से पहले. चुनांचा जी. So the pious predecessors used to remind people and advise them on the need to take stock of the nafs and the self, to rectify it before the opportunity passes and before death descends. In concluding this monograph, I think it will be appropriate to quote some of the pieces of advice related from our predecessors on this subject. The four rightly guided Khalifs are the head of the list. So here we start off with that of Hazrat Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala's advice. He goes on to say, اعلموا عباد الله أنكم تغدون وتروحون في أجل قد غيب عنكم علمه فإن استطعتم أن تنقضي الآجال وأنتم في عمل الله فافعلوا ولن تستطيعوا ذلك إلا بالله. O servants of Allah, know well that you are spending your mornings and evenings in a life whose knowledge is concealed from you. If you can spend your lives doing good for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then do it. But you will never be able to do it without Allah's help. Allahu Akbar. Illa billah. So we come to that of tawfiq. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb taught us this dua of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahumma inni as'aluka at-tawfiq limahabbika min al-a'mal wa sidqa at-tawakkuli alayk wa husna az-zanni bik. Oh Allah, we ask you for tawfiq, for guidance, for inspirations to carry out that a'mal which is most beloved to you. Wa sidqa at-tawakkuli alayk, and true high tawakkul and trust in you. وَحُسْنَ الظَّنِّ بِكَ, and oh Allah, bless us with this beautiful quality that we always entertain good thoughts of you. Now it's the last portion of the life. Allah Ta'ala save us from ghaflat. Hazrat Wala then quotes about that person who spent his entire life, and then at the end of the life, you know that ghaflat, so he's busy passing away. The ruh is leaving the body, and he's still going on to say, this batch of material, it's so much for a meter, and this material here, that's so much. So, Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb used to mention these du'as so abundantly in his majalis that we didn't actually learn du'as. We heard it from him and we learned it. Also, The Munajat-e-Maqbool, regular recitation and reading from there, is also the cause of a person learning these du'as. Now, in the Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib used to receive correspondence abundantly, khutut and letters, but he used to get happy on this point if some letter came and there was mention made of some person saying there in the letter, what he mentions, that I have started my qaza salats, or I went to certain person and I asked for maafi. So this is it. It all starts from yourself. That's exactly where it starts. So then Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala goes on to say, hasten while you have been given the respite before your life comes to an end and you are then returned to your evil actions. There are people who made their lives for others while forgetting their own selves. I prohibit you from being like them. I prohibit you from being like them. So you come first. Sometimes we are so worried about others that we're doing everything for others and we neglect ourselves. Ourselves we get left. Now there is an incident, we're speaking about sincerity, honesty as well. There was a person who gave this bagh in charity, and Hazrat Tanvi was there, and he said, okay, what intention will we make? Someone mentioned this, someone mentioned that, someone mentioned that. Then Hazrat Tanvi started enlisting. He said, we can also make this niyat that people will come and eat from the fruits of these trees. People will come here and drink from the sweet water that's here. People will come and rest in the shade here, etc. And the list then goes on. One person who was sitting there then went on to say that it can also be used for the saintly people who would then pass away, they can be buried here. Allah Ta'ala made it such that very shortly after that he passed away and he was buried there as well. In Shahganj, there was an iftitah of some maktab. So the bayan was given there, and the person spoke about the importance of ikhlas, and there should be no ostentation whatsoever. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib was there, and he told the person, you be seated. Meaning, first go and learn some basic type of orientation of waz and nasihat first. This is not the occasion to speak about ikhlas and a person not having riyah. This is the occasion where a person supposed to speak about the fazilat of the makatib and what a great work the people are doing, so they can get some type of himmat afzai. Hazrat Jami Sahib, our Ustad, Hazrat Wala is saying, used to speak, and Shah Wasiullah Sahib used to say to him, sit down, you're not saying right, you're not speaking right, meaning there are so many other things that you need to learn before you even start. So we have to do it for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Innamal a'malu bin niyat. So Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of doing a'mal salihah, not only for today, but rather right till the end. Allahumma inna nas'aluka at-tawfiq lima habbika min al-a'mal wa sidqa at-tawakkuli alayk wa husna az-zanni bik. So husn zan, entertaining good thoughts of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah Ta'ala will treat us in a good way, Allah Ta'ala will forgive us. People used to say to Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib that Hazrat will come and spend time with you in Ramadan. Ramadan would come and they would not arrive. And then he would look at us and address us by saying, these people said they are coming, but they did not come. Meaning, niyat was not there. And another thing, there was no tawfiq from the side of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like how we attach importance to that work and this work and that work of the dini works, then this is also some great work. On one occasion, a person gave waz and he spoke about ikhlas. People became happy, we also became happy. When Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab heard about this year, he told that person, from now you would not give waz again. So many people benefited, but Hazrat was not looking at that. He was looking at the harm that was going to come to this one individual, that he's still not ready for it, and he could land up in ghurur, kibr, pindar, pride and arrogance, being self-conceited and thinking he's so great. So we continue with the advices and the muraqabah of Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiyallahu ta'ala, where he goes on to say, فَالْوَحَا الْوَحَا, hurry up, hurry up. ثُمَّ النَّجَا, seek deliverance, seek deliverance. فَإِنَّ وَرَاءَكُمْ طَالِبًا حَثِيثًا مَرُّهُ سَرِيعٌ يعني الموت. There is a swift seeker behind you. He moves extremely fast. He is death. He is death. Umar radiyallahu ta'ala an used to say, حَاسِبُوا قَبْلَ أَن تُحَاسَبُوا وزنوا أنفسكم قبل أن توزنوا وتزينوا للأرض الأكبر يوم تعرضون لا تخفى منكم خافية. Take stock of yourself before you are taken to account. Weigh the level of your actions before you are weighed. Embellish yourself for the greatest presentation. That presentation where we are going to be presented to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before Him, and nothing will be concealed from you. The third Khalif, Hazrat Uthman radiyallahu ta'ala an, used to say, O man, know well that the angel of death who has been appointed to you is forever behind you. He goes to others as well for as long as you are in this world, as though he is going to others and has the intention of coming to you. That's the reality. He's going to go to others with having the intention to come to you. You should therefore be on your guard. Be ready for him. Do not become heedless of him, because he never becomes heedless of you. O man, know well that if you become negligent about your own nafs and do not prepare it, no one else is going to prepare it for you. The meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is inevitable. Protect yourself then and do not leave it to others. The fourth Khalif, Hazrat Ali radiyallahu ta'ala an, said, O people, the thing which I fear most for you is high hopes and following of desires. إن أخوف ما أخاف عليكم, the thing that I fear the most for you is طول الأمل واتباع الهوى, long hopes and following desires. High hopes causes one to forget the year after. Following of desires leads one away from the truth. Listen, the world has turned around and is moving back. The year after is approaching. Each one of them has devotees. Become the devotee of the Akhirat and do not become the devotee of the dunya. Today is the opportunity to do a'mal and actions, while there is no accounting of those actions. Tomorrow will be the accounting, while there will be no actions. There will be no actions. So Allah Ta'ala give us sihat. We stayed for many days, and this year was a great treasure, ghanimat from the side of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maut se ghaflat jaiz nahi. To be negligent of death is not permissible at all. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Saheb used to say, Akhirat is so tremendous, it is so overwhelming that it would swallow all other types of fear. This khawf and this fear of the Akhirat will swallow all other types of worries and fears. You know, kitab we were just reading now, and the author then mentions, or rather completes his kitab with this words here, وَخَيْرُ أَيَّامِ يَوْمَ أَلْقَاكَ فِي. Oh Allah, make the best of my days the day that I meet you. The day that I meet you. يوم ألقاك فيه. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم بحرمة سيد النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وسلم.